Hello and welcome back to No BS. Today we turn to talking about demonstrations, protests, and very entitled liberals who think they can say and do whatever they want. Specifically, we're getting back into sports and football, for example. Today we're talking about college football, but typically we're talking about the National Football League and how they're becoming more and more woke. They're the ones who became famous for allowing Colin Kaepernick to kneel during the national anthem, and then many other players followed suit. And now, in addition, the NFL has also added lots of other weird new rules, like how they're going to give teams better picks in the draft if they have black coaches. That's right, the NFL has gotten woke and terribly terrible over the years, and it seems to be bleeding over into college football as well. Today's story is rather interesting and related to that. And today we're talking about a very famous football player at the Oklahoma State football program who decided to protest his own coach for wearing the wrong t-shirt. That's right. He wore the wrong t-shirt and he wasn't even at work or on duty or at the university or anything. There was a picture of the coach fishing on his day off and they saw him wearing a t-shirt that was for a TV channel called OWN. It's One American Network. It's this kind of newer news TV network that's coming out, and they're actually being very strong. They've got a great presence for being a younger, newer channel. And they're also, of course, somewhat conservative leaning. And that's what the problem here is. It's like he was wearing basically like a Fox News shirt or something. And the player decided he wants to protest and say, I'm not going to play until my coach does something about this. And it's just ridiculous already. I mean, that premise right there is golden. I mean, first of all, players shouldn't be getting political. I don't know why anyone would care what this player thinks. And if the coach wants to wear a shirt, who cares? He could wear a CNN shirt for all I care. Wear a shirt for NBC, CBS, like whatever. It doesn't matter. He's just wearing a t-shirt on his day off. He's not making some big political statement. And I just think the whole story here is from top to bottom ridiculous and also biased against conservatives. And in addition, there's a lot of hypocrisy here too. I've got an article that goes over just that. It's from CNN. So now we're talking about CNN, a liberal news network, covering this story, and they're trying to support this guy as much as possible. It's very obvious. Their bias is so apparent. But the worst part is they're not admitting it. They try to act like they're really reporting this honestly and straightforward. But as you can see by this title, it's not going to go that way. It says, Oklahoma State football coach responds after star running back Chuba Hubbard calls for change. That's a cool name, by the way. But basically, yeah, it's like they're supporting this and they're calling for change. They're acting like it's this great heroic move when really it's just kind of the player being a jerk, trying to like power play his coach and tell him what he can and can't wear. When really that's not the way the chain of command should be going. Like people should be respecting their elders and respecting their bosses. And in this case, the coach is his boss. This coach is probably working his butt off trying to get these kids into professional teams and programs and stuff like that. So the fact that he's stepping up because of this one shirt is really ridiculous. And the fact that CNN supports this is rather alarming as well. Oklahoma State head football coach Mike Gundy on Monday said he's looking forward to making some changes after his star running back called him out for wearing a t-shirt branded with the logo of a right-wing news outlet. The comment came just hours after Chuba Hubbard, Oklahoma State's running back, called out Gundy on Twitter for wearing a One America News Network t-shirt. Now, this is not on job. He's not working. He's not on the, at the campus. He's not coaching in one of these shirts. It was his day off, and he's wearing this shirt. And I just love the way CNN labels them as this right-wing news outlet. Like, oh, that's a crime. Like, oh my God, they're right-wing. Oh, and right-wing almost sounds like negative. Like I would have maybe called it like conservative or right-leaning, but they're not like a specific, they wouldn't call themselves that, like they wouldn't say we're all conservatives. I'm sure a lot of them are. And it's kind of a similar situation to Fox News, maybe. I think a lot of people prefer OWN to Fox, though. A lot of people are watching that one now. And it actually, Fox is becoming old hat in a lot of ways. But that's really besides the point here. The point here is that CNN would be called a left-wing news outlet if OWN would be called a right-wing one. But I don't think they would ever claim that title, and they're actually far more biased. CNN is nefariously biased. Like, they're sketchy biased. They're always lying and trying to cover for Democrats and give them talking points and course correct them and all this stuff. So for them to call out a right-wing news outlet for bias is super hypocritical, and they're not even noticing it. They don't even care. Like, these writers are just like, whatever. We're just going to call them out and we're going to act like they're fake news and we're the real fake news. CNN's fake news. That's the thing. I will not stand for this, Hubbard tweeted on Monday, linking a photo of Gundy in the shirt. This is completely insensitive to everything going on in society and is unacceptable. I will not be doing anything with Oklahoma State until things change. Okay, this is a ridiculous tweet. Like, what is he even saying? How is this completely insensitive to what's going on in society? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, I guess he's referencing current events. Okay, let's try to break it down. There's these outcries and these bad demonstrations gone wrong, rioting and looting, and it's caused by this race baiting that came out of Minneapolis. But how could you pin that on OWN? Like, how do you blame them? Like, just because they're conservatives doesn't mean they're doing this. Like, I don't get the correlation at all. I mean, if anything, the people race baiting these events, like the arrest gone wrong and these other BLM stuff, it's like CNN. They're the ones that are going to the autonomous zone in Seattle and trying to act like it's peaceful. There's MSNBC who's gone to these protests and stood in front of fires and said that it's mostly peaceful. I mean, these guys are the ones that are causing the problem. I don't see what OWN has done. Like, this is just vague kind of claim. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, I think he just is kind of under this false assumption that it's insensitive because they're conservative leaning, like all right wingers are racist or something. I mean, I don't know. This is only statement we've got, so I don't know if there's much there, and I just don't get it. It's just kind of crazy that they just would think this, but I guess you got to remember this is a football player. He's not political or, even maybe very smart. I'm sure he has a lot of football knowledge and a lot of skills there, but he obviously doesn't know what he's talking about, and he obviously doesn't know what's appropriate, like appropriate way to act. I think he might also be empowered by other kinds of athletes that use their power in a wrong way to become political. For example, LeBron James, Colin Kaepernick, these kinds of people have come up and done this kind of stuff. So I think he's trying to like fit in and be cool and show that he's woke. And he's going after OWN, which is just not really making sense. Like, they're just a news network, like One America News Network. They're like American. Some of them are conservative leaning. I'd have to get more details and watch it more to really see if it's even that far biased. Like, I'm not even really concerned about that, though. It doesn't have anything to do with this insensitive and stuff going on. I mean, they're just a channel on TV. OWN has been regularly promoted by President Donald Trump on his Twitter feed because of how the channel frames him in a flattering light. The network offers viewers right-wing conspiracy theories and pro-Trump commentary mixed in with wire video news packages that are sometimes skewed to fit its editorial viewpoint. Okay, again, CNN is saying this. They are the most biased, most liberal. They push conspiracy theories for years. I don't get it. It's like total projection here. I mean, CNN has pushed the Russiagate collusion narrative for like 4 years, and it was nothing. It was totally made up. And now they want to say that OWN has some kind of conspiracy. I don't know what the conspiracy theory is. They don't point it out. So I guess they just expect us to take their word for it. But yeah, okay, so a news network might have been nice to Donald Trump once. Is that a crime? Like, what is wrong with supporting the president on some things? I mean, you guys are anti the president on everything. I think the point is you're allowed to be biased if you're liberal, and you're allowed to have an opinion if you're a Democrat. But these conservatives can't have their own thing. We can't even do what we want. We can't have a news channel that slightly leans our way. We're called, tinfoil hat people. These news packages are skewed to editorial viewpoint. Well, what the hell do you think you're doing at CNN, dude? You guys have the worst viewpoint. You guys are the most biased fake news crap I've ever seen. In a follow-up tweet Monday, Hubbard posted a video of him and Gundy addressing the public. In light of today's tweet with the t-shirt I was wearing, I met with some players and realized it's a very sensitive issue with what's going on in today's society, Gundy said. Change is coming soon, I promise. So this is the guys getting together. I think it makes sense. Like, I wouldn't even say the coach is like totally caving in. This is just a case of like, he wasn't even trying to get political. They just happened to have a picture of him wearing one of those shirts, and then he gets called out. Like, it wasn't like he was speaking out and like supporting OWN or promoting them or sharing a link. It was just, it happened to have that shirt on. And then because his player is this kind of anti-white, anti-conservative black person, he automatically says they're racist. And the coach is just trying to diffuse this. He doesn't want a controversy. The player is creating a controversy because you see their body language here. Like, this guy is angry. This guy is clearly, the player. He's black. he's going along with all this fake news narrative stuff. And this guy is just trying to, he has his arms more open. He's like, I'm going to open up to you. Like he's looking to this guy. This guy's looking away from him. Very kind of like telling body language to show that, yes, this is a kind of thing that the coach is just going to want to diffuse. Like they don't want to, he doesn't need to stand his ground because he wore an own shirt. Like these guys are supposed to be focused on football. And that's the right thing to do. This guy should be focusing on football. I don't know why he's going and calling out his coach. Like it just shows another thing too. Like I wonder what his family situation was, because a lot of times these people act out this way because they don't respect authority figures. They didn't have a proper upbringing. Usually they didn't have a dad, and it sucks. And it sucks to see them kind of struggle and have this kind of insecurity because of that. Like a normal, secure person who was raised right wouldn't be lashing out this way. The coach said it was a great meeting, adding, I'm looking forward to making some changes, and it starts at the top with me, and we've got good days ahead. Hubbard, who in 2019 was named a unanimous All-American Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, said he went about things the wrong way by tweeting. That was bad on my part, Hubbard, who finished 8th in voting for the Heisman Trophy, said, but from now on, we're going to focus on bringing change, and that's the most important thing. Hubbard had it in another tweet, no, don't get it twisted, foot still on the gas, results are coming, it's not over. So he did kind of come backwards. I appreciate that, and I think if he was a little bit older, like he's obviously young, but if he was a few years older, he would have known to not just take that to Twitter. Like it could have got him in trouble too. Like, did he really want to lose his spot on the team? The coach is the boss of the team. Like this is like working at whatever, like working at a big company like Walmart and kind of attacking Sam Walton or whoever's in charge of that company. It doesn't make sense. Like you're going to really attack your manager or your store because they wore a shirt you didn't like. I mean, this shirt is not implying insensitive anything. It's just a TV network. I mean, what if you wore a CNN shirt? Would that be considered really insensitive, especially during this time? If someone was wearing a CBS shirt, would that even be considered? Because I would find those, offensive. I wouldn't say anything or do anything about it because I don't care what shirts other people wear. I'm not like a negative Nancy trying to like fashion police everyone. But if I was, I would say CNN and other networks are more offensive. And I would say this person's political knowledge is like next to none. And the last thing I want to mention is this tweet, which goes over an interesting contradiction where it's like, okay, it says, while the media goes berserk over Coach Gundy wearing an own t-shirt, just remember they praised Kaepernick for wearing a murderous dictator, a murderer, and pig socks. Neither deserves professional repercussions for exercising their free speech, but one is absolutely worse. That's right. So Colin Kaepernick can wear this dictator and murderer as a shirt, and he has this big afro, and then he calls the cops pigs on his socks, and then he has this shirt with another offensive person on it. And these things are all okay. These things are like rewarded even. It's okay when liberals do it, obviously, but this guy wears an own shirt and it just has an own logo on it, this logo on it, and he's like vilified and everyone's supporting the player. We had CNN trying to play defense for him. It's a total mess. It's a total hypocrisy, and that's why we got to call out this BS here. That wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Also hit that like button to support this channel, and until next time, you guys have a great day.